welcome to Friendship and Joy with me, Karen. We are now past the 4th of Advent, and as you can see my candles here, this is a Swedish, well, I guess it's a Lutheran Advent candle holder. So each Sunday prior to Christmas we light one candle, and it's done in preparation for Christmas. I also think it's a perfect opportunity to light candles for people that we may have lost throughout the year, things that we are thankful for. You can never light a candle too many. I think that it's the act of lighting a candle is so simple and so small, but if you pause, stop and reflect, it can be something that you can incorporate into your daily life as a means of gratitude. So today I'm going to light all 4. There you go. This one is for Nonna, for Valerie, for Aunt Lilias, and thank you for letting my dad live another year. There you are. Just before Christmas, what do we have to talk about when it comes to knitting? I wanted actually to talk about something. I don't know. We've all been there. We've knitted a project that we end up hating. It doesn't turn out the way we think. I dove in with this beautiful Chelsea yarn that I showed you in the past that I picked up. And I started knitting without a pattern. I just had this idea in my head and I thought it was going to be perfect. Technically, I know how to create the ratio of a crescent shawl, so I just winged it. Turns out it looked awful when I was done with it, and I didn't see that until I cast off. And so this is what it looked like. So I've just cast off the stitches on this crescent shawl, and I am so unhappy with this. It looks terrible. It looks awful. I just wanted to make a crescent shawl, and while it was on the needles, I could not see how this is puckering up. This is supposed to be the top part, and this is supposed to be the sort of the outer part, but it looks terrible. It looks horrible. And I can't even block this out. Something went wrong because it's shaped the completely wrong way. For me, it looks horrible. So I love the yarn. I like the colors together. I just hate the way this looks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually repurpose this yarn. For the very first time, I'm gonna start unravel the whole thing and make something else out of it because I hate it that much. And that is what I decided to do. I decided to unravel the whole shawl. Suzanne calls me a perfectionist. This was, I don't even know, this is not even being perfectionist. This is actually being, I had to repurpose the yarn because the yarn was too beautiful to not do anything with. So I unraveled the whole thing and I got busy knitting. Not something new. I've made 2 in the past. The lovely, lovely Night Shift Shawl by Andrea Mowry. And it's a lovely, lovely, wonderful shawl. It's big, it's warm, it's chunky. You can wear it cozy like this underneath a coat. You can wear it wrapped around your colder summer evening even. You can just wear it. Let's not light on fire, shall we? You could just wear it and be cozy. And the yarn is soft. I like the sort of softer colors in this. The other one I have made is more a little darker, little in the blues and greens and reds and all sorts of, so this kind of feels more like a spring shawl in a way, but I'm very pleased with it. If you're not happy with something that you made,
Who says you can't fix it? Who says you can't change it? And that's what I did. I do not knit because I need a garment or another shawl or another blanket. I knit because of the process of knitting. So for me, to knit that whole shawl, unravel it, and knit it again, it's it was not a failure to me. It was just, I had fun. I got to knit it twice, you know. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you think they are going to. So this shawl I finished. I have not finished my Olava sweater that I decided to do, my second Olava, where I talked to you about making my own design. I did mention I was going to do one with a big heart on it. I decided to do it with a different design. I designed a rose. I don't know if you can see it. So even though it's not done, I'm going to hold up I still have the sleeves left to do. I've done the front and the back. I'm going to hold up the front so you can actually see the rose and see if it even looks like a rose. Never. Hold on one second. It's, like I said, my own design, and I did it in the watercolor technique. It's called the layered technique, and I think it turned out pretty cool. Again, bear in mind, I have not blocked this yet. Colors are... There we go. Can you see that it's supposed to be a rose? I'm gonna come a little closer. Does it look like a rose? There we go. I thought it was fun to do. I designed the rose on Stitch Fiddle, and I had the same ratio as Arne and Carlos designed on their Olava sweater. So I think it's 93 by 93. So it's tiny, tiny, tiny little, it's hard to read. So I didn't even bother printing out this pattern. Instead, I looked at it on my laptop and I blew up so you can count along. Because when you have such a large pattern, you might have like 20 or 30 stitches in the sequence just to be able to create this oversized big design, and to count if it's really small is not easy on the eye. So I actually did that on the computer, and I think it turned out, it was fun. It's something. Did it look like I had hoped in my mind? No. But it's a start. I was thinking now, because my mind, as I'm knitting something, my mind is always 2-3 steps ahead. I was thinking now, instead of doing it in a layer technique, I would like to try to do this as an intarsia, and have more solid colors. And perhaps instead of using the background color in the middle here, I would use a lighter color pink, or maybe darker actually, and try to see if I can make it into a cushion pillow. I might do that, but I'm not sure. We'll see where that takes me. There was also something else I wanted to talk about. Oh yes, I did in the past pick up this lovely yarn from Ruby and Roses. Ruby and Roses yarn. It's a young lady. I think she's only 17 years old. Her name is Addie, from the United States. She started her own yarn dyeing business, I think, a while ago. And she has this beautiful soft yarn. This is the merino DK weight, but she has fingering weight, she has worsted weight, and she does her own yarn dyeing, I think, in her parents' garage. This particular yarn or coloring is called Flickering Flame, and I decided to knit her design in her shawl. She's released one pattern, and it's called the Fascination Shawl. I haven't gotten that far with it yet, but it is, so figured to learn from my old mistake, maybe I shouldn't do my own design. Maybe I should stick to something that's tried, tested, and true. So I've just started casting on for a crescent shawl, and I have to come close because there's a lot of detail in this shawl. You can't really see it, but there's a lot of stuff going on. There's eyelets going on here. We even have This is some type of cable. It's not your typical braid, but it's done the same technique where you cable 3 left, cable 3 right. And I even have, not that you can see them here, I'm gonna come really close. I have Bobbles, and I don't know if you've seen my previous episode when I'm complaining about how much I suck at making baubles. Well, a very kind viewer, I forget your name now, sorry, gave me a tip on going on to a YouTube channel. I think that is called Miss Evil Knits. And she talks about how she does her baubles so that they stay on the front side. And thank you for that tip. It has changed my life. Really, I'm gonna show you now. The way I did my baubles in the past, they always, no matter how tight I made them, they looked kind of insignificant, and they keep coming back to the back side. The lowest row here of baubles are the way I was taught to do them, and they barely show, and they kind of just sort of float into the back. So then the way the woman at Evil Knits decided to do was this middle row here, and you can see already, oh my goodness, what a difference. They are actually staying to the front. And then I perfected them by adding another layer. And look at the top row. I think I've now finally figured out how to make beautiful baubles that stay on the front. Yay! And I'm going to show you how to make them. Okay, so in order to make the baubles, the pattern says to knit 5 and then make your bauble. So I'm going to knit to 1 stitch before the stitch I want to make the bauble. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where I want to make the bauble. I am going now to twist these 2 stitches. That way the bauble stays to the front by being pushed forward by that twisted stitch. So you do that by going into the back of the stitch. You knit it. Then you take the next stitch off the needle. The one you knitted follows along, and then you replace that 1 stitch onto the left needle again. And now you're ready to make your bauble in there. These 2 stitches are now twisted. So this stitch will kind of push that bauble towards the front. So we are now going to increase 6 stitches into the same stitch. So you knit in the front, but don't slide it off. You knit through the back hoop, don't slide it off. Front, back, and front, and back. I have now 6 stitches on my needle in that 6 stitches in the 1 stitch. Now, instead of turning the work and purling back or anything like that, we are going to slip these back onto the left needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We knit those 6 stitches like normal. 1, 2, it's hard to see here, so bear with me. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now we're just going to lift over these 5 stitches here over the 6th one. So gotta tug a little bit, lift it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can tell you it helps you if you have sharp needles. Here's your little bobble. Hold the bobble towards the front and tighten it really tight now with the next stitch. I would say tighten it really well. I would say the next 2 stitches. And then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you stop 1 before you do your next. So there you have it. Now you too can make absolutely beautiful bobbles, and you don't have to turn the work, because it's just off. I like when knitting flows. If it's too cumbersome, I don't enjoy it, so then I just don't do it. So now I can make bobbles without turning anything. It flows evenly and they look really good. So when I come on Addie's shawl here, when I come to the next row of making the bobbles, I'm gonna make them my perfected way. This was the way I figured they stay to the front, but they don't look oomphy. So now I'm gonna have oomphy bobbles, and it's gonna show more because it's gonna be a much bigger area when it comes down a little bit. So I'm looking forward to this. I have to say a couple of notes about the Fascination Shawl. I'm really impressed with this young lady. She has put so much thought into this shawl, and you can find her stuff. You can go to her website, that's called Ruby and Roses, or I think she's also on Ravelry, and this shawl is called the Fascination Shawl. But what I like about her pattern is that she has listed, this is, even though there's a lot of different techniques, I would say a beginner could knit this shawl because first of all, it's not too complicated and everything is listed row by row. So not only has she written, I think it's like, I don't know how many, like the pattern gets thick because she's listed each and every row of the shawl with the stitch count. So it's very hard to mess up. If you just read along, trust the process, you will end up getting it. But not only has she done that, she's also added little boxes after each line. So if you're supposed to repeat these 2 rows 4 times, she's actually putting these little boxes out so you can tick them off row by row. And there's something so satisfying about doing that. It's like a to-do list. It feels so good to scratch it off step by step. So yeah, you can easily lose yourself into an audiobook or something. You won't worry, oh, how many have I knitted? Should I do 3 or 4? You just tick, 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 tick off each row that you do, and you know exactly where you are at all times. It's, yeah, I get, maybe I'm weird, but I get satisfaction out of that. It feels really, really good to do that. So good job. I think that's a great one. It's a lot of fun too, because this, even though this is going to be a huge shawl, you don't get bored because there's always something new going on at every row. And if you don't look too far ahead, you don't know what's coming, which keeps you on your toes. It's kind of fun. So I'm so having a lot of fun with this. And I have a feeling that this is going to come with me down to Florida. I'll finish this off down there. But I think that is all that I have for you today. I wish you happy holidays. Merry Christmas, that's what I say. But I also recognize that you all celebrate different holidays. A happy Hanukkah, happy whatever holiday you celebrate. I wish you the best and have a good one. And I'll see you in the new year. Take care. Bye. If I can get the match to work. What happened to Valerie? Are you trying to say something? There you go. Hello. Welcome. Daddy. Okay. Pillow cushion. Cushion. A pillow cover cushion. What's it called? The cushion cover. A pillow. Pillow. Oh, for heaven's sake. Okay. Blabber, 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 blabber.